Hey there, this is John from Heroes and Legends. Today we got a big surprise from Wizards of the Coast. They went ahead and spoiled 69 cards from Magic Origins. Now, the way they did this was mostly through the intro pack spoiler list. So, if you remember past core sets, they're going to release 5 intro packs, which are basically 30 card decks, and they come with a couple boosters to help you supplement your deck. Typically, these are aimed for newer players. However, there are some cards that are exclusive to these intro decks, or you can also find them in the deck builders kit, but they're not going to be found in regular booster packs. So they're doing the same thing with Magic Origins, and we'll go through a list of first the cards that are going to be exclusive to these intro decks and the deck builders toolkit, and then we'll go on and look at the other cards that are in the intro decks. Now, because these are intro decks, most of these cards are going to be commons and uncommons that we're going to be looking at. However, they did spoil a few other cards, and we do have one mythic rare to look at. So there's a lot of cards. I'm going to stop talking, and we're going to jump right into it. So first, let's look at those exclusive Magic Origins intro deck cards. And typically, these are cards that are reprints, so you'll find these are all reprints. And we don't have the new pictures of the cards, so I just basically have the older version pictured here. And usually these are cards that are relatively vanilla, or they're classic cards that have just been reprinted a lot of times. So let's get started. And the first one is Aegis Angel. This was in Magic 2015, and it will be an exclusive card for the intro decks. Divine Verdict, decent removal. Eagle of the Watch. This was actually already leaked because somebody opened a pack of, not clear if it was Modern Masters or Dragons of Tarkir, got a copy of this card because sometimes, as Wizard says, cards that are being printed for the new set sometimes get miscollated into a current pack. Some people have the conspiracy theory that Wizards does that on purpose. I think it would be kind of cool if they did, but I don't know if that's true. Sarah Angel, classic card from the original Alpha set. Into the Void, another very good card. Mahamadi to Jin, another classic card from the original set. Weave Fate, very good card draw at instant speed. Flesh to Dust, not one of my favorite removal cards, but removal. Mind Rot, which always seems to show up, most recently in Dragons of Tarkir. Nightmare, yet another classic alpha card. Sengir Vampire, another classic alpha card. Weight of the Underworld. Fiery Hellhound. Another classic Alpha Beta Unlimited card, Siobhan Dragon. Plummet, which we just saw in Modern Masters. Prized Unicorn. Terra Stomper. And finally, Runed Servitor, which we also saw in Modern Masters. So again, you're not going to find those cards in booster packs of Magic Origins, but they are legal in any set that Magic Origins is legal in. So you can play any of those cards in Standard at any time. I don't know if the metagame is really going to be conducive to that, but you sure can try. And now let's move on to the other cards. And again, you're going to find that there's new cards in here. There's also some reprints in here. If it's a reprint, we don't yet have the new picture of the card, so you're going to see the older version of it. So let's get started. The first one is Ekron Jailer, and he's a 1/1 for 1 white. He's a tapper. He's kind of an expensive tapper, but you're going to see a theme here that white is definitely trying to tap your opponent's creatures. So this is the first clue to that we've seen. Charging Griffin, this is a very good limited card, very strong on the offensive. Grasp of the Hieromancy, here's another new card. Again, notice the trend here. It's an enchantment, buffs your creature a little bit, +1/+1, and helps you tap down your opponent's creatures. Now that +1/+1, either as a buff or till end of turn, is also another key that we see in the white set. So it seems like they're trying to do maybe a little white weenie strategy where your white weenies can get +1/+1 and tap down your opponent's creatures. So white should be interesting. Heavy Infantry, so there's a decent body, 3/4 for 5. Again, has the ability to tap down an opponent's creature. Mighty Leap, we just saw this in Modern Masters, and it's going to be back. And very good combat trick. Sentinel of the Eternal Watch. This guy's pretty good. The uncommon spot, and she's a 4/6 for 6 mana, has vigilance, and can tap down an opponent's creature on every combat. Pretty decent uncommon there. In Akros, This one has a Theros theme, which again is kind of cool that they do this in the core set. We're going to see themes from the other planes, and this one is Screaming Theros. Again, it gives that +1/+1 buff, so it's an enchantment that's going to help you do that. Yoked Ox, and this is the last white card. 1 white, 0/4. Alright, and now we move on to blue with Claustrophobia. This is great, quote-unquote, blue removal. It's fantastic in Innistrad Limited. It's going to be great in any limited format. Disperse, it's no boomerang, but it's still a very powerful card. We'll definitely take it. Hydrolash, here's another new card, and this is decent, kind of fun little combat trick for blue. I like the fact that it's an instant speed and it can cantrip. That's what really kind of puts it over the top. So I'm looking forward to trying that one out. Jesse and Thief. So here's the first time we see it, but notice Prowess is going to be a thing. And it definitely seems to be falling under blue. So here's a 1/3, and this is basically a Shadow Mage Infiltrator, but you're paying a blue and 2 colorless instead of having to spend 2 different colors mana, and instead of Fear it has Prowess. So very interesting card, and it's at the uncommon slot. Maritime Guard, and yeah, 1/3 gums up the ground, classic reprint. Ring Warden Owl, here's another Prowess card, another new Prowess card. 3/3 flyer with the Prowess, costs 5, it's at the common slot. Scrapeskin Drake, so this is basically a Cloud Elemental, and it's from Avacyn Restored. However, it's a zombie, and you're going to see there certainly seems to be some Zombie Matters cards in Magic Origins, so this could be interesting. Separatist Void Mage, and I love these Mana War type cards. I'll take this all day. Here's a common, it's basically Mana War, it costs 4. I'll pay 4 for this effect. This is going to be awesome, and you're going to see a lot of it in Limited. Towergeist, this was great in Dark Ascension. 2/2 flyer for 4, and you get a little bit of card selection, and you get to dump a card in your graveyard, which can fall into that zombie theme. Now we'll move on to black with Catacomb Slug, and just a vanilla reprint, 2/6 from Ravnica. Cruel Revival, and here's that Zombie Matters, destroy target non-zombie creature, and then you get to take a zombie from your graveyard and put it back into your hand. Deadbridge Shaman, I kind of like this guy because he's basically the anti-Elvish Visionary, which I think is pretty cool. He's a 3/1 for 3, so he's sort of aggressive, but when he dies, target opponent has to discard a card. I really like this design. Eyeblight Assassin, and 2/2, here's another elf. Elf Assassin can possibly give a creature -1/-1 when it enters the battlefield. So very interesting card. Maybe there's an elf thing going on. Infernal Scarring, and here's just one of those kind of classic black enchantments. It's going to buff a creature, but when it dies, you draw a card. So I like this. It's very cheaply costed, and you get to draw a card when the creature dies, so you don't feel like you're getting 2 for 1. You're getting another card off this, which is pretty decent. Malakir Coalblade. So he only costs 2 for a 1/1, and when opponent's creatures die, he gets bigger. So he's kind of a half Cabal Ghoul. He only gets the ability from opponent's creatures, can still be really good in a game of Commander or multiplayer game. Next is Rabid Bloodsucker, and for 5 you get a 3/2 flyer. However, when he enters the battlefield, all players lose 2 life, which sometimes is not great if you're behind, but definitely worth the risk in Limited. Soul, this is some pretty good removal. I like these cards that, granted it's sorcery speed, but only cost 2, destroy target creature, power 3 or less. This is definitely something I would pick in Limited. Shambling Ghoul, here's another new zombie, and I always like this design. They played around with this in Innistrad. The zombie's 2/3 for 2, but it comes into play tap because it's slow. It's a zombie. Now we move on to red. Act of Treason is back. Seems like you can't keep Act of Treason down. Avaricious Dragon, and here is our mythic rare, and this is a really nice card. Much like a Thunderbreak Regent, he costs 4 for a 4/4 flyer, and that's pretty good. But on top of that, you get to draw an extra card each turn. Now, the downside is at your end step, you have to discard your hand. But if you're playing red, that's the plan. You're basically trying to pull some more burn spells, maybe some more small creatures, and you're just going to play them. So this is going to be a very good card. Potentially, you could see some standard play. I really like it a lot. Bellows Lizard's been reprinted from Return to Ravnica, and it's a 1-drop that has fire breathing. Bogart Brute, this is one of the new cards, and this one's kind of fun because we have a new keyword, and it's Menace. So, you know that effect where it says creatures can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures? Well, now that has a name, and it's Menace. So Madcap Skills, I guess, would basically say enchanted creature has Menace now. So it's a 3/2, which is very strong for 3, and it can get across for some damage. You're going to find, too, another thread here in the red cards appears to be the trying to stop your opponent from blocking. So Boros, with tapping creatures down and finding ways around blockers, could be a nice little strategy. Next is Chandra's Fury. We've seen this card before. What I don't like about this card, it does 1 damage to each creature the player controls, but it's basically just for going to your opponent's face for 4, and it costs 5. So it doesn't always do what you want it to do, but hey, it's still direct damage, and it's still, at some points in the game, removal. Cobble Brute, and this is a vanilla card from Return to Ravnica, 5/2. Enthralling Victor, and here's one of our new cards. Basically, you get a 3/2 that has a mini Act of Treason attached to it. It can take control of a creature of power 2 or less to end a turn, and lets you untap it and gives it haste. Yeah, that's okay. When you're paying 4 for a 3/2, that's actually a pretty decent bonus. Not always going to be effective, but if you have an opponent that has a small creature that maybe has a really good effect on it, or something like that, you could use it. Lightning Javelin, and after playing Modern Masters, it seems expensive to pay 4 for a sorcery that deals 3 damage to target creature or player, since we've just been playing with Lightning Bolt. But you do get to Scry 1, and that's not nothing. Scry 1 is, as we've seen in recent history with Scrylands, can be very powerful, so maybe that warrants the forecasting cost. It is at the common slot, so you are going to see a lot of these. I'm sure that kind of tempers the power a little bit, but it's an interesting card. I'm looking forward to playing with it. You'll also notice that Scry is a thing that's also appearing in some of the red cards. Next is Seismic Elemental, and remember when I mentioned there are cards that are playing around with the not letting your opponent's creatures block? Well, here's another one, and this is on a 4/4 body for 5. Subterranean Scout, and here's more of the same. This guy's a little bit cheaper. For 2, you get a 2/1, and it does stop a creature with power 2 or less from blocking that turn when it comes into play. And Titan Strength, which we just saw recently in Theros. It's a nice little combat trick, and it allows you to Scry 1, so there's yet another version of Scry. Volcanic Rambler. This guy's interesting. He's at the common slot. He costs 6 for a 6/4, but I do find it interesting that he's a great mana sink, that you can basically do damage to your opponent directly through him for 3 mana unlimitedly, as much as you have mana anyway. Kind of an interesting design on a common. Now we'll move on to green with Conclave Naturalists, and this kind of feels like that red card that was the mini Act of Treason on legs, so I don't know if maybe this will be a cycle, but here you have a Naturalize on legs, and you get a 4/4 body for 5. It's actually a very decent card. And here's Elvish Visionary. So we saw the anti-Elvish Visionary in black, so Elvish Visionary will be back, which is a classic card and very strong card. Don't underestimate the being able to draw an extra card when this 1/1 comes into play. Hitchclaw Recluse. I really like these cards. I like these cheap spiders that with reach are going to let you gum up the game a little bit and help you play a little more controlling strategy. Joroga Invocation. Not a huge fan of these sorceries that boost your creatures but don't give trample. Now, this can kind of double as removal. It costs 6, which is sort of expensive, but you get the +3/+3 buff on all your creatures, and they all basically get lore. So that could potentially wipe your opponent's board. There's going to be some board states where this might not be good enough. I guess I just long for the days of Overrun, which I don't think we're going to see anymore, especially at the uncommon slot. Leaf Gilder, and this is a mana dork. Now he costs 2 instead of 1. I think we've gotten spoiled with 1-drop mana dorks. He's still going to be great for ramp and limited. Mantle of the Webs, and here's another enchantment that's going to give a creature the ability to kind of become a spider and gets reach and some higher defense. Titanic Growth, classic card. We've seen this in many, many core sets, and here it is again. Very powerful combat trick. Next is Vastwood Gorger, and it's a 5/6 for 6 vanilla creature. And finally in green we get Yeva's Force Mage back again. And when it enters the battlefield, it gives a buff. It's a 2/2. Now we'll move on to artifacts. So we recently saw this in Theros Block, a 4/4 flyer for 6. Sometimes it makes the cut in the limited deck if you need a creature with evasion. Amday Tome, another classic card, just can't keep this one down. It's from the original Magic set. Meteorite's back again this year, and I kind of like Meteorite. It helps your mana fixing, and it is direct damage. It's a little pricey, but it can be good in some decks. And finally, the last card of the day is Veteran Sidearm, and this is a very simple, kind of teach a new player how equipment works card. Yeah, it's a +1/+1 equipment. Only costs 2 and 1 to equip. Not too exciting. So, having said all that, those are 69 cards that are going to be in the Magic Origins set. Although, some of them, of course, will only be in intro decks and the Deck Builder's Toolkit. But, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, definitely a good time to do so. We will be reporting on all spoilers that come out. Don't know if we'll see more this week or not, but if we do, we'll have videos to support that and get the information to you as soon as possible. So as always, thank you for your support. Please remember to like and subscribe, and have a great day. Hey, thanks as always for watching. If you're still looking for quality Magic the Gathering videos, click on one of these annotations. And if you hadn't had a chance yet to subscribe, smash that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the breaking MTG news, spoilers, set reviews, crazy product openings, or gameplay videos on Heroes and Legends MTG. Talk to you again soon, and have a great day.